Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to episode 3 of Kids Quest. We're so happy that you're here with us. Stay tuned because today we are going to learn about the parable of the lost son.
Light of the world.
Light of the world, you step down into darkness. Open my eyes, let me see.
Beauty that made this heart adore you.
Beauty that made this heart adore.
The hope of a life spent with you.
Hope of a life spent with you.
And here I am to worship.
Here I am to worship.
Hands bow down.
Here I am to
Here I
bow
am to say.
Here I am to say that you're my God.
We're all together.
All together worthy.
Love.
All together worthy.
All together wonderful.
All together wonderful to me.
King of all days, oh so highly exalted.
King of all days, oh so highly exalted.
Glorious in heaven.
Glorious in heaven above.
Humbly came.
Humbly you came to this world you created.
All for love's
All
sake.
for love's sake became poor.
Here I am to worship.
Here I am to
Here I am to bow down.
worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
Hey, kids. I think I found Bucky, but I still can't find Wheat. I think I hear something. I hear something.
Bucket!
Wheat!
Bucket!
Wheat!
What? I know. I was not crying. Hi. Yeah, my Bucky. I don't know where he is.
Found Bucky!
What? What? Where? Wait! Is that Bucky? Is this Bucky? It is a horse! And I kinda am getting hoarse! So maybe this is Bucky? He does have a rainbow tail and a rainbow mane. That is the main thing. And a rainbow hooves. It kinda looks like Bucky. I mean, maybe, but he does have a horn. I mean, he's making a good point there. But I think this is a unicorn. I wanted it to be Bucky, but Miss Emily, kids, thank you for helping me look, but this isn't Bucky. Oh, I hope it's not Bucky.
Wait, I am so sorry. I think the kids and I will still help you continue looking for Bucky.
You'll still help me look?
We will.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. Oh.
And he said, there was a man who had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of the property that is coming to me. And he divided his property between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had, took a journey into a far country, and there he squandered in his property in reckless living. And when he had spent everything, a severe famine rose in the country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, and who sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. And he was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate, and no one gave him anything.
Hi, glad you're back with us again. Today we are going to learn about the parable of the lost son. I want you to think about the last 2 weeks. The first week we learned about the lost sheep. The second week we learned the parable, the lost coin. Today and next week we're going to talk about the parable of the lost son. I know that we've already heard the Bible verses from this story, but I'm going to do today a little bit different. We're going to walk through our Bible verses and talk about them very briefly after each verse. So the parable of the lost son. I'm going to read you verse 11 and 12, and then we're going to talk about it for just a second. Verse 11 says, "And he said, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, 'Father, give me the share of property that is coming to me.' And he divided his property between them." So let's think about this. So the dad had 2 sons. The younger son asked for some money that was going to be inherited to him. Inherited means when someone dies, that's the money that's left over. So the younger son and the older son were going to split the money. So the younger son asked his dad if he could go ahead and have his money. So let's keep reading. "Not many days later, the younger son gathered all that he had and took a journey into a far country. And there he squandered his property in reckless living." So the younger son took all the money that the dad gave him and he squandered it away. Squandered is kind of a funny word, but let's think about what squandered means. So when he got to the new country, he ate all kinds of expensive food. He bought himself fancy clothes. I bet he bought all kinds of really cool toys. He went to parties. He just bought things that really he didn't need, and some of the things that he bought and did were ways of sinful living. So there he was, living this glamorous life in this country that he'd been to with all of his dad's money. Let's keep reading. Verse 14 says, "And then he'd spent everything. A severe famine arose in that country, and he began to be in need." So a famine is when there's not enough food in one place. So there he was living this lavish life with all of these fancy things, and he ran out of money. He had no money. He was poor, and there was a famine. So he was also hungry. So he was in a little pickle. He was poor, and he was hungry. He was sad. It was really pitiful because he didn't know what to do. Let's keep reading. "So he went and hired himself out to one of the cities of the country, who sent him into his field to feed pigs." Now think about this. This guy who lived this lifestyle in the country, he was so excited because he had all of his dad's money. He had all these fancy things. He spent it all. He squandered all his money away. He spent it on things he didn't need. He spent it on sinful things that God was not very pleased with. Then he ran out of money. He became broke. Then there was a famine. He had no food. He didn't have any money to buy food. So he had to have a job. He looked for jobs all kinds of places. But the only thing that he was able to do was to feed pigs. So this guy who had lived this fancy life, because he took all of his dad's money, was in a pitiful state. The only job he could do was feed slop to pigs. And then last verse 16 says, He was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate, and no one gave him anything. He was so hungry that he even had to try the pods. Pods are like little seeds that people feed to their pigs. He even had to try those because he was so lost and pitiful. Boys and girls, that was a difficult place to stop in that story. He was sad and he was probably feeling lonely. But boys and girls, you know what? Next week we're gonna learn that Jesus was there for him, just like Jesus is always there for us, even when we get lost. We'll learn more about his brother next week, so stay tuned.
Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Deep and wide. Deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide.
Kids, slower or faster?
Faster.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Deep,
Faster or slower?
Faster.
Faster?
deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing wide. Deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing wide. Deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing wide. Deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing wide.
Now, can you leave out some of the words?
What words?
We're going to go and wide. Ready, kids?
So what are we leaving out?
Deep.
Leave out deep.
5, 6, 7, 8.
And wide, and wide, there's a fountain flowing and wide. And wide, and wide, there's a fountain flowing and wide.
Again, faster. 5, 6, 7, 8.
And wide, there's a fountain flowing and wide. And wide, there's a fountain flowing and wide.
Now, leave out deep and wide. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Kids, ready? We almost got there. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
There's fountain flowing.
Again.
There's fountain flowing. And fountain flowing.
Good job.
Boys and girls, we want you to remember 3 things from our lesson today. The first thing is that God welcomes the lost and he pursues the lost. Even when we venture off, he still comes back for us every single time, and we are so thankful for that. The second thing we want you to remember is that we are praying for you. We're praying for you, and we're praying for your families. And the third thing we want you to remember is that we love you and we miss you so much. I hope you've had fun with us today, and we can't wait to have you back next week.